Business here with me, Pius Kojobaka. To our very first story, inflation for the month of September fell to 38.1% from the 40.1% recorded in August 2023. According to figures from the Ghana Statistical Service, both food and non-food inflation went down. Inflation for locally produced items was estimated at a rate of 37.3%, while that of imported products was 39.9%. Now, government statistician Professor Samuel Kobnenim attributed the decline to the tight monetary policy measures by the Bank of Ghana. Figures from the Ghana Statistical Service reveal food inflation declined to 49.4% from the 51.9% recorded in August 2023. Non-food inflation also decreased to 29.3% from the 30.9% recorded in August 2023. Inflation for locally produced items was estimated at a rate of 37.3%, while that of imported products was 39.9%. However, the month-on-month inflation between August 2023 and September 2023 was 1.9%. Professor Samuel Kobnenim is government statistician.
The month of September 2023 annual rate of inflation stood at 38.1%, indicating a 2.0 percentage slowdown in the rate of inflation. Despite the slowdown in the rate of inflation, prices of goods and services in Ghana continue to increase, as relative to September 2022, prices of goods and services overall have gone up by 38.1% between September 2022 and September 2023.
He attributes the sharp drop to the tight monetary policy by the Bank of Ghana.
The reason why we put in tight monetary policies is to ensure that we keep inflation rates close to the target that we all have set as a country. And from the presentations that we've been doing, one can only hypothetically say that it's possible that this is what is driving it. For instance, in the month of September 2023, we continue to see a sharper decline in the prices, in the inflation rate of imported items. So relating that to our exchange rate, relating that to other macroeconomic variables, one can hypothetically say that tightening of the monetary policy is what is contributing to it.
But meanwhile, Northeast region recorded the highest inflation rate of 54.4%, while the Ashanti region recorded the lowest inflation rate of 31.2%. Meanwhile, government says it expects inflation to drop further in the coming months as some of its policies impact positively on food prices. Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam is the Minister of State at the Finance Ministry and has been speaking on a yet-to-be-aired PM Express Business Edition tomorrow at 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel.
Growth, for example, growth rate, which the IMF projected for this year to be 1.5%. Growth rebounded strongly, and the IMF also didn't say this by chance. They said it on the back of the fiscal consolidation. When you are doing fiscal consolidation, growth will suffer initially before it takes up when the conditions are right. And so they projected 1.5% for the year, but the economy did better. We did better. In the first quarter of the year, growth was about 3.3%. The second quarter about 3.2%, and so half into the year, growth average 3.2%. And we are committed to taking this to the end of the year, and this is why some are already projecting that we may end up at 2.8%. Others said we may end up.
The Bank of Ghana is talking about more than 3%. Is government itself going to revise its growth outlook for the end of the year, or it's too late? Are you going to review the numbers?
Almost ended.
But are you going to review the numbers?
For example, the third quarter figures will come out soon, and before the end of the year, and then the first quarter of next year, then you will have the whole year projection figures coming out. And so we want to continue to do well. We want to continue to ensure that the growth sectors are doing well. We are injecting more resources, and this is why His Excellency the President approved a new growth strategy, so that we are not just achieving fiscal stability or macro stability, we are also creating jobs, we are creating incomes, we are building new growth poles, and that is what we are committed to do. And so our performance defies the IMF projection, it defies the World Bank projection. But this is just about growth. But look at inflation also, for example. We have been on a disinflation path, for some time now, coming from 54% by December last year, 2022. Today, it is still 38%. And so the disinflation path is being sustained.
Yeah.
We will continue to do what we can, particularly on food inflation, to ensure that inflation goes down further. Our target is to achieve a single digit by the time we exit the IMF program, 8 plus or minus. And looking at the trend, you know, the way inflation is decelerating, we are very confident that we will achieve that target.
All right, so we've got to interrogate these figures better, and joining us via Zoom to help us do that is Seram Kawo, Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Thanks so much, sir, for joining me on Prime Business. Now, some good news on inflation, you would say, and really that is being attributed to the tight monetary policy measures by the Bank of Ghana. Do you agree?
Yes, partly so. And the other part is also that we are also in a time period where food inflation, for example, has been down, and that has been the trend over the past years that we have been working as a country. The tight monetary policy, yes, the policy rate has been maintained for this very period, and we see that this is also contributing to the rate of inflation that we have. But basically, the exchange rate has also been stable. The IMF program has brought some level of confidence in the economy. And so we hope that this will continue so that we will be able to get a lower inflation rate that we have. The projection is that inflation would go into a single digit in the next 3 or 4 years. So we may not get a single digit by the end of even next year. 2025 is projected to have about 15 or 18% rate of inflation. So we should be getting to a single digit in 2026, 2027, or 2028 that way. Yeah.
I see. Now, question is this decline basically sustainable?
It's going to be very difficult to sustain it during this very period because we are getting to the festive season where a lot of imports are going to come in. Prices of commodities generally will increase during that particular period. We have seen a rate of increase in the fuel prices that we have. And so we are not going to be able to sustain this particular rate during this particular time. And let us also remember that in 2024 is an election year for Ghana, and government tends to spend a lot. And during that time, prices also tend to go up. So we having the hope that it's going to be maintained will be very problematic for us.
Mr. Kawo, what potential threats should we be on the lookout going forward? Mr. Kawo, can you hear me? All right, it seems Mr. Kawo's line has frozen. We shall bring him on to speak to us.
The threat of government to do programs to win. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, go ahead.
Can you get me?
Yes.
Hello? All right. So I'm looking at the threat of government spending beyond the limits of the budget and government trying to win the sympathy of the voters when they are going to the next election year. There is the need for government to ensure that they live within the budget and they live within the limits of the IMF agreements that they've had.
All right.
Otherwise, we are going to go off board.
Thank you very much, Senior Finance Lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, Seram Kawo, helping us appreciate the development in relation to latest inflation figures there. Away from that, in a bid to enhance trade and investment opportunities for businesses within Commonwealth, the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council is seeking to connect Ghanaian businesses to its trade hubs across the world. Now, this is to help them trade favorably and compete globally. More in this report.
The Commonwealth Enterprise Investment Council is a platform that provides a wide range of investment opportunities for businesses within the Commonwealth to deepen trade ties with their counterparts. To this end, the council seeks to connect businesses in the areas of oil and gas, agribusiness, finance, infrastructure, among others, through its over 100 hubs across the world. Rosé Glazebrook is the chief executive of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council.
Africa is a hugely important market for our organisation because we really want to support businesses and work in collaboration with partners such as the AFCFTA as well as others, and we also work with government partners and looking forward to building our partnership here with the government of Ghana, as we've also done with the government of Cameroon, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and a number of others. So where does our organisation help businesses in Ghana? We have 9 strategic partners here so far who are businesses ranging from banks and insurance companies to infrastructure companies and agri-sector organisations, and that is out of our 155 strategic partners across the globe who range from the biggest international organisations such as Zenith Bank, BP, Dangote Group, through to smaller tech companies who are looking to enter new markets. The reason they want to be part of what we do is because we can help leverage those government and business links and connections in a way that really demonstrates growth for those organisations.
Chair of Ghana International Advisory Council, Gabi Asario-Tridako, said this move provides a better prospects for Ghanaian businesses to leverage on the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
I think for us in Ghana, and for the Ghana hub of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, what is exciting for us is that in this era where I feel like Africa is getting together within the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, how do we seek to leverage our history, tradition, culture, and business relations with the 55 other Commonwealth countries and leverage Ghana's own, if you like, position and our own vision and ambition as a country that wants to spread prosperity within first of all Ghana, within the continent, add value to what we produce, and find a bigger market where we can trade what we have and also receive what they can add to our economy.
On his part, Ghana Head of Mission John Appiah gives a breakdown from this initiative.
Going forward, when you're telling Ghana about the type of people who want to be part of our community, we're looking for dynamic businesses and people who are visionary. It doesn't matter how much money you make or how popular you are, and it's a transparent, open process of being able to join. And
meanwhile, the 3rd Commonwealth Trade and Investment Summit will be hosted in London with participation from heads of government, senior ministers and global business leaders across the 56 Commonwealth member nations.
Now, the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, in partnership with the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, will soon be implementing the solar panel irrigation system. Speaking at a press briefing ahead of this year's World Food Day, FAO representative in Ghana, Yundi Yasmin, disclosed that the 3-year program is worth 10 million euros. There is more in this report.
World Food Day is an international day celebrated every year worldwide on October 16th to commemorate the date of the founding of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization in 1945. This year's celebration is focused on the vital role water plays in food production. Engaging the media, FAO representative in Ghana, Yundi Yasmin, revealed that plans are underway to start the solar panel irrigation program.
We are here in Ghana very lucky. We have sun every day, unlike in the northern hemisphere that we do not have this kind of resources, right? So what we are going to do is to introduce simple, workable solution for small farmers
to do the irrigation through solar panels. And why we want to do this? Because this is an untapped resources for Ghana, the solar. Okay, we are going to implement this project for 3 years. This is a project of sizable projects. Is a 10 million euros projects to be implemented in the 6 regions in northern Ghana.
FAO Senior Regional Water Development and Management Officer Valer Nzeyimani advised agribusinesses to invest in the cultivation of salt-resistant crops as water scarcity is caused by climate change.
In 2050, the population of the world will increase tremendously. Then food needs will be also increasing. We should start preparing now, because with the climate change, more and more saline soils will appear. If we don't start investing now in salt-resistant crops, we will not be able to produce food for ourselves.
FAO Regional Representative for Africa, Abebe Hill Gabriel, indicated that his outfit is developing voluntary guidelines on plastic to ensure the proper disposal of plastics so they don't end up in water bodies.
Coming up with voluntary guidelines on how to manage plastics, because it's a big problem. Voluntary guidelines means for countries to use it. It's a tool, it's a method to use how to manage plastics. Raising awareness is important. It is a beginning because it is the people, it is us, all of us, who are contributing to that kind of waste. But there has to be some kind of compliance, enforcement, and government at different levels.
The World Food Day 2023 will be under the theme, Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind.
In more news, farmers in the Agotimes Yope district of the Volta region continue to lose thousands of Ghana cedis invested into tomato cultivation. The produce is going bad on the farms because they are unable to get suitable buyers, hence cannot harvest the produce. This development crippled the local economy of the district and affected livelihoods. There is more in the following report by Fred Kwame Asari.
It's morning here in the hinterlands of the Ziopi traditional area in the Agotimes Ziopi district of the Volta region. Amada Vida leads her children to work on one of the biggest tomato plantations in the area. Her family is part of the harvesting workforce in the tomato industry here in Ziopi. The workers are paid a daily wage of 40 Ghana cedis, less than $4, for working between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Neu flongo hoshi ane mi ha mi va gbanwo ko ka fa na mi ha hoshi if sa fuma va va mu na mi agbanwo ike be wa ka fa na mi wa hoshi ke mi ha mi akoya ko me ka akokpo de vioju ma nya mi kanya ku hena nyo jofi to ha.
This development is widespread in the Ziopi traditional area, known for the production of tomato. According to residents, this year's season had been one of the worst experienced in about a decade. They lamented their inability to get buyers for their produce as their harvest period coincided with their counterparts in Ada. Seth Neglekwashi, who owns a 10-acre tomato farm, said they were compelled to reduce the price of their produce.
Lulu malaba 10 acres. You get come up blood. I have 75,000 Ghana cedis. Me have that kind me around 1,500, 2,000 plan of year. If you are give 150, 100, plus 200. Yeah, that way back because no long kure. You have problem the chico kamizana ko daglingwa. Apoba arefu.
Even after drastically reducing the price of tomatoes, very few middlemen trade with the farmers in Ziopi. They prefer to buy from Adan, which is closer to the nation's capital, than travel to the country's southeastern border.
chipera tami chipera he gblo mala fi filafia na yida ada junction afma tomato so bora afma ala gbagba ta afia va long mi me ko fia va mi na ma nyi long wa mi ma va fia because na cho akra na va do ada junction e po ala pie na akwa mi cho ma vu va do rafi goji ya o mo lama.
Produce on the farms in Ziopi is getting rotten because they have no mechanism to preserve the tomatoes after harvest. The inability of the farmers to get ready markets has crippled the local economy of Ziopi and heavily impacted livelihoods. The majority of residents in the traditional area survive on the tomatoes industry, ranging from farmers, farmhands, loading boys and drivers, among others. As it stands, people who provide service in the tomato value chain are struggling to survive.
Kuiba iba afupom yak banwo bo na dovala miolo ni boy so mi ponana abane mi avio school e ko college you know gbo ha mi dawo doma abo ho na do pona no plaja na plongo ko ya bo fa fa we ba anya taruna mi ta fiero ko meliko ala fama mi na ka goma samu.
A simple call on the government by the farmers is to help them sell their produce, provide them with storage facilities or processing factories. Until then, these farmers will continue to watch their investments go down the drain while the local economy suffers. Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Ziopi.
Away from the Volta region, country manager of Belakwa Mineral Water, Raj Mapuri, says his company will continue to promote mental health. According to him, ensuring the mental well-being of the country's human resource is critical for economic development. He was speaking at a public lecture and donation exercise made to the Department of Psychiatry at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Ghana, as part of its Take a Break project, held a public lecture to promote mental health in Ghana. The company also donated some items to the Department of Psychiatry at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. In an interview with Joy Business, country manager of Belakwa Mineral Water, Raj Mipuri, said his outfit is committed to giving back to the communities they operate in.
We've done Operation Smile in the past, where we did a lot of operations and helped a lot of people. And once again, we sat down together and said, no, we must give back to society. And the best way to do it is mental health. A lot of us, including myself, we go through a daily stress, pressure, a lot of things happening at home and at work. So what is the best way? And we realized that mental health is something in Ghana people don't want to talk about. We've realized, we just came out from a lecture where even Prof, he openly said it, that a lot of people don't want to talk about it. And Belakwa decided to reach out to everybody, that this is the opportunity for us to talk together about it. It's not about mad people or things like that. It's about us and our daily lives. Friends go through a lot of problems and issues and have no one to talk to, so why not reach out?
Former chairman of the Mental Health Board, Professor J.B. Asari, added that the mental health sector has been inadequately funded for the past 10 years.
Lip service is given to mental health. If you ask anybody, is mental health a priority? They'll say yes. Everybody has concern about the poor mental health state of the country. But then for the past 10 years, we've been struggling with funds. Before the human rights concerns, and many things are taken care of, you need some money to implement certain things. We're talking about even drugs for the patients. You don't have sufficient drugs in the system. Patients come, you give them the drugs, the next time they come, they will not get the same drugs.
Other organizations were advised to contribute to the promotion of mental health in Ghana. And before we go, as part of the 20th anniversary of the Legacy Project, SG Bank Ghana has renovated the 6th floor of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital's surgical block. According to Managing Director Hakim Hosani, the bank will continue to give back to the Ghanaian economy through its corporate social responsibility. He spoke to Joy Business at the unveiling of the renovated surgical block.
The renovation, which took 5 weeks to complete, included provision of a new BoG head ceiling for the reception and lounge, replacement of all water closets, wash hand basins, and installation of sliding glass windows in the corridor. The bank also replaced all rusty and discolored medical lights, installed fire alarm system, wireless nurse call system, and air conditioners in all the wards and offices, and painted the floor. Hakim Wuzani expressed optimism in supporting other projects.
What we have done is the complete refurbishment of this 6th floor of the hospital, complete refurbishment of the two wings, in terms of equipment, in terms of refurbishment of the walls and all the accessories that we have here. So it's a full refurbishment of the floor that we are doing. As you know, the Caribou Teaching Hospital is the most important hospital in Accra and in Ghana, and this is where the vulnerable population can have the ultimate access to health. This is why we have chosen this as a symbol, and because also of the role and the mission that they have in Ghana.
The SG Group's Deputy Director of Retail Banking for Africa, the Mediterranean Basin, and overseas, Georges Weger, also added that the bank had survived all the economic turbulence for the past 20 years due to the massive support from its clients, regulators, partners, and staff.
We are very sensitive to the mission of this hospital, and having to bring this little contribution for us is the minimum that an institution like ours should do to accompany their mission. Now, we've been here 20 years now in Ghana, and we have been here because of the Ghanaian population, because our clients, because of the authorities of Ghana, the regulators, all the authorities, our partners, including hospitals, our staff, and we'd like to thank all of them.
Chief Executive Officer for the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Opoku Wariampuma, called on more corporate institutions to support the hospital.
We are rolling out and adopt a project campaign so that individuals and organizations can adopt similar projects and execute them, because at the end of the day, it's the Ghanaian people that we want to serve. We want to serve them in an atmosphere or in an ambience that accords them dignity, that accords them comfort, and then makes them more confident in the healthcare delivery system. We know that technically our team is second to none. They are the best that you can have within the sub-region. And we continue to add to it, we continue to train more people, we continue to improve upon the plethora of services that we provide.
Thanks so much for watching Prime Business with me, Pius Kojo. Baka Prime Sports is next with Ms. Bao. Do enjoy.